What's up guys, Coach Nate here from The Run Experience. Today we're talking about how to start a running program at or over the age of 50. I'm gonna give you 3 important tips to do this the strongest and healthiest way. Hey guys, here's the deal. As we get older, especially as we go beyond the 40s and the 50s, you know, we naturally tend to lose strength, we naturally tend to lose our body's range of motion, and we also lose, more importantly, our bone density, actually after kind of the age of like 30s when these things all naturally start to slide down. Now, running is actually a great way to get some of those things back as in addition to it just being such a fantastic cardiovascular activity. So we really want to do it. However, running has its own high standards that we need to hit so we don't get crushed by it. And that means that we need to be strong enough, we need to be mobile enough, and we need to be intelligent in our recovery so that we can tackle that running strong and healthy, which is exactly what these 3 tips are in this video. That's exactly what we're going to tackle today. Guys, tip number 1 is going to be intensity, and that we need to add it into our weekly schedule as a way of increasing our speed or helping to maintain it, because we naturally tend to lose speed as we get older, and our VO2 max more specifically. So what we're going to do today, and one of the things I'm going to suggest, are some FARTLEK style intervals where you alternate faster speeds with slower speeds. And I like to leave this purposely open-ended and give you some range and some freedom to kind of determine what's the best specific path for you. But where we're going to start is with this. We're going to do 10 by 1 minute of fast running, 1 minute of easier running. Now, this could be, if you're really ready for it, this could be 1 minute of something that it's a higher rate of perceived exertion, higher perceived effort at the 8 to 9 out of 10 scale. And that means for the minute that you're not running fast, you're like almost walking or jogging slow. If you're new to this, what I would say is something that's in like the 6 to 7, 6 to 8 out of 10 scale, where you're moving faster than you normally are, it's a little uncomfortable, and then on the 1 minute off, it's just a little slower than you're used to going. And just that little change of speed is going to be really good for you. My favorite place to start with most runners to keep things healthy is to actually have you do this on an uphill grade. And what's so great about that uphill grade is that the ground meets your feet, so the impact's a little bit lower. Because you're going uphill, you're going a little slower, your stride length is a little bit shorter, and it takes some of that excessive pounding away. So tip number 1, especially as we age and we get over 50, is to keep a little bit of intensity in there to keep our strength and our speed up. All right, tip number 2 is going to involve strength training. Now, you may have heard that it's generally important to be strong, but I want to get into the nitty-gritty here. I want to be very specific. Specifically, we want to use strength training at least 3 times a week. I know it may seem like a lot, but this balance of strength training is so important to support your running. And in fact, as we get older, in certain respects, especially early on, we're better off doing a little bit less run mileage and doing a little bit more things that are going to keep our bodies strong and healthy. Now, there's a lot of different things we can do. I'm going to show you 4 of my favorite exercises. They're all body weight, so you don't even need to add any equipment in there. Of course, if you have access to a gym and you want to load this up, you can. And we've got a lot of great strength exercises directly on our YouTube channel. We even have a strength program that you can check out as well. So what we're going to hit today, guys, is first is just going to be a squat. I'm going to start with my feet about hip width stance, toes are turned out a little bit, and I like to start this just to think about posture. I'm going to kind of squeeze my butt, my abs are on tight, and I'm already thinking about being a little bit engaged there. I'm going to initiate this movement by pushing my hips back and letting my knees push out a little bit. That's just a way of loading up this hip. And I'm gonna squat down just as deep as I can. You may find, if you're a new squatter, you may only be able to go about halfway. That's fine. If you're uncomfortable, you can squat down into a chair. That's cool too. But if you're good, you should have this range of motion where we're really working on our hip, we're really working on our ankle, and our back is nice and straight as well. So squats are perfect. We're gonna work on our push-ups as well. So we're gonna combine a squat with a set of push-ups. Don't mind little Nora dog, she's sniffing around, looking for field mice as we do a little videoing here. Get out of here, Nora dog. We're gonna get into our push-up position. Squeeze our belly, squeeze our butt, and once again, I'm back to that belly tight butt squeeze position that I was just in at the top of my squat, and I'm just working on this nice active plank. Fingers are nice and wide, screwing my hands into the ground so I've got a nice, strong, stable shoulder. And I'm gonna work on lowering myself to the ground all the way. And from here, if I want, I could drop to my knees and press up from here. So go here, all the way, press up this way. Of course, I could just make it a little simpler and just not drop my knees to the ground and work on my push-ups this way all the way through. So I've got those two movements. The next little combo I like to add as I go through this express style is a lunge. Feet are gonna stay kind of on a wider width stance. I'm gonna step out, drop this back knee to the ground, front shins are nice and vertical. This gets us into a little bit more of a single leg environment. We have a little bit more balance we have to work on, and this is a great way to strengthen hips, glutes, hamstrings, quads, and we're trying to move in a way without this knee going forward or in or collapsing in any weird way. This back leg is an extension. We run an extension a lot, so that is super important. And we can start to add some lunges in there. And finally, my fourth favorite movement would be a set of burpees. A great way to move a little faster, add a little coordination, and get the heart rate elevated a little bit more. A nice natural way to get some intensity in without running. I'm gonna put my hands on the ground. I'm gonna jump my feet back, hit all the way down here, and then I'm going to bring my chest up first, snap my hips, and then come in this way. So I can slow this down just by putting my hands on the ground. I could step back, more of a controlled push-up. I could step back in as a way to modify this thing. And of course, I could go a little bit faster too. In terms of overall reps, a nice way to do this is to tackle, let's say, a set of 20 to 30 reps total. So a way you could think about this would be 2 sets of 10 of all movements. You could work your way up to 3 sets of 8, where all of a sudden you're doing 24 reps total of everything. And then you could go up towards of 3 sets of 10, so you get about 30 reps of everything. Add something like this in 3 days a week. You'll build strong, you'll stay healthy, and that will keep you running as you want. Now, this third final tip involves recovery. Now, this is something that really makes the magic happen if we're not actually able to give our body that chance to repair and recharge. We're actually never gonna benefit from all the hard work we've just done, and we're just gonna continue to smash ourselves into the ground. We're gonna get injured, we're gonna get sick, we're gonna get burned out, and we're not really gonna be runners for very long. So this ability to have at least maybe 1 full day off a week of some light mobility work, which I'll explain in a second, as well as in general, making sure that I'm sleeping well and I'm hydrating more. And if you are increasing your exercise routine and regimen, you better believe that sleep is gonna be more important, and your ability to rehydrate and stay hydrated throughout the day is super important. So making sure you carry that water bottle with you. Super pro insider tip, you can pinch a little bit of salt in there, and you could even do a little bit of maple syrup in there too. It's a fun little thing I learned from a nutritionist, and it's actually a way of getting your body to absorb that fluid a little bit faster. We can't go into all of it today, but just, hey, you have full excuse to throw a little maple syrup in your water. So sleep, hydration, super important, but what I wanna go into today are my 2 favorite things from a mobility perspective that we need to happen. As a general rule, I like to tackle 2 body parts a day, even when I'm healthy, as a way of just staying that way. But the 2 areas, if you're not sure, that we're gonna tackle are gonna be our hips, and it's gonna be our thoracic spine and upper back, because of the 2 areas that stiffen up the most. And those are the 2 tightest areas I see with my runners north of 50, where they start to battle with. So the first thing we're gonna hit is this couch stretch. I'm gonna use this picnic table right here, but imagine you're inside. You can throw your foot up against the couch or against the wall, and you're all good to go. I'm gonna start down here on all 4s. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my right knee, drop it to the ground, and this foot is gonna be up here. If this was a wall, I want my shin all the way to the wall. Now, with just my knee on the ground this way, I may find that I'm already getting a little bit of a stretch in this hip. And I'm just gonna drive this hip forward, abs are tight. Level 2, I'm then gonna pull this foot up into this long lunge. Now, for a lot of you, this is gonna be very dramatic feeling, so be patient with this on the early steps. And what I like to do is take a couple breaths, spend like 20 seconds before I even go here. And finally, if this isn't too bad, I can slowly start to come more upright and open up this whole system. Now, what I want to make sure is that as I come upright, I'm not hinging or bending through the back, it's only through the hip. So I'm not arching through my low back this way, that's no good. So I wanna stay tight here, and then if I can start to bring the whole system back like this, the better. I wanna spend at least 2 to 3 minutes here. I can Netflix, I can be on my phone, I could do whatever. I like to Netflix as I do things, so I could watch a little Netflix as I'm hanging out at the end of the day, getting this in. And then of course, I'm gonna come on out and work on the other side. Now, our next thing is going to be our upper back or thoracic spine. Just because we sit a lot, we drive a lot, we just do a lot of things with some sort of screen in front of us, this upper back and this shoulder complex gets very, very stiff. And what happens is when my thoracic spine gets a little stiff, I lose extension and I lose rotation. Both things are important just to be a strong human being, to bring my arm up overhead no problem, and to run really well, especially with a smooth arm swing. So what we're gonna do is a little thoracic spine mobility. Now normally I recommend you use a foam roller, start with that, or 2 lacrosse balls together. I am using my handy dandy water bottle right here because I'm a glutton for punishment, what can I say? And I'm gonna go down right here on the ground, and I'm gonna start with this kind of right between my shoulder blades just to start. And the first thing I'm just gonna do is lay back, whew, and I'm just gonna kind of roll, starting in the bottom. I'm gonna work up kink by kink. Now I wanna make sure that I'm somewhat supported, so my abs are turned on a little bit, and I'm breathing, because again, I don't wanna just be hinging just through the low back. And I can work on some different segments. I could kick those hips up. Whew. This thing is a little harder, so it's a little harsher. And I could give myself a big hug, open up those shoulder blades, rock a little bit back and forth, kick my hips up, that just adds a little extra load. Try to breathe, find another spot, rock back and forth, kick your hips up. Ugh. Beautiful, work all the way through those shoulder blades, and you're gonna notice a nice way of just opening these up. Right now I'm showing you a little bit of an express way of doing this. Of course, I'd want to spend a couple minutes on these. For both of these movements, integrating your breathing is a nice way to do this. If you find yourself holding your breath, you're going to be staying guarded and you're not really going to get the benefits of this. So if you can't breathe, it might be too harsh and too hard. Find a way that you can breathe where it's a little bit more mellow. Start adding this in a couple times a week, and it's really going to make a difference in your body. Hey, one more thing for you. If you like this video, let us know. Hit that like button down below. If you have any comments or questions on things we covered today, on the ideas of the run workouts and the strength training, you know, drop a little note down there. We will write back to you as human beings on the other side of this thing. And of course, subscribe to our channel, guys. We got so many great videos coming at you each and every single week, covering the whole gamut of running, everything you need to be a strong, healthy, fast runner. And in fact, we even have a little video right here that would be the most excellent video for you to watch next. I'm gonna go film more of these guys, so I will see you in the next one.